Right. Now, today we are going to discuss the short story, The Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde. Before starting, just remember what a short story is. Can you remember a short story? I think we discussed this one when we were doing the lumber room. Yes, a short story.
It is short in length,
Okay,
limited character,
very good.
plot is very short,
Good,
and limited dialogues.
good. Right. Mainly, the story is woven around one incident. So that's the plot. Plot is very short. Good. So the Nightingale and the Rose. This short story is also as it is. This is a short story, as it says, and the Nightingale and the Rose. Normally, you know, rose. The rose symbolizes what?
Love,
Love. The rose symbolizes love. And what about the nightingale? Any idea about nightingale? Have you heard about the nightingale? Huh? Nightingale? Have you seen the nightingale? You cannot see nightingales in Sri Lanka. Nightingale is a singing bird. Nightingale is a singing bird. It has a very sweet voice. Why nightingale? What is the relationship of the rose with the nightingale? You have to think. The nightingale symbolizes sacrifice. So you see the sacrifice and love. Sacrifice and love. The nightingale and the rose, that means sacrifice and love. What is this relationship between the sacrifice and love? Hmm? The bird nightingale comes in Greek mythology. Nightingale comes in Greek mythology. It has a story, right? There were two sisters. One is Philomela and the other one is Procne. Right? So Philomela was married to a prince. And one day Procne went to see the sister. And in some stories, in some places, it is said that Philomela's husband, that now the king, wanted to marry Procne. She refused. So to revenge, the king, in some stories, in some places, they say that the king assaulted, beat Procne, and some say that the king raped Procne. And after that, the king cut her tongue so that she cannot tell it to anyone. But she wove that, she embroidered, right? The whole story in a piece of cloth. And Philomela, the sister, understood the situation. Then Philomela killed the prince, the baby. That means her son and also the son of the king husband, and cooked the meat and served the king. After eating, the king came to know the story about the meat, the flesh of his own son, right? Then the king started chasing. The king started chasing the two sisters. They ran as fast as they could, and in the forest they begged the god to save them. So the so the god changed Philomela into a nightingale and Procne to a swallow, right? And Oscar Wilde has written two short stories taking these two characters as main characters. So here you get the nightingale, and there is another short story by Oscar Wilde. Find it and read it. That's better. The short stories, The Happy Prince. the happy prince. And the main character of the short story Happy Prince is a swallow. So here, the nightingale, symbolizing that sacrifice nightingale becomes the symbol of sacrifice. And the rose symbolizes love. And there is a deep attachment between sacrifice and love. Where there is sacrifice, there's this true love. Where there is no sacrifice, there's no love. Right? The sacrifice and love. The true love depends on the sacrifice. Where there is no sacrifice, there is no true love. Right? So, love means sacrifice. Love means giving, it's not receiving. You should be able to sacrifice if you love. If you expect something in return, then that is not love. Right? අපි රිටර්න් එකක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් නේද? Then that is not love. You just love. You can love anything. You can love any person. Doesn't matter. ඒක ආපිට ඒ විදිහට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් then there is no sacrifice. If we expect it back. Right? So that is an expectation. That's not love. Okay? So that is why the nightingale and the rose, the sacrifice and the love. Right. We'll see. Right. Yes, Tinuli, you can start reading the first two.
She said that she would dance with me if I bought her red roses, cried the young student. But in all my garden there is not red rose. From her nest in the holm oak tree, the nightingale heard him, and she looked out through the leaves and wondered. No red rose in all my garden, he cried, and his beautiful eyes filled with tears. Ah, on what little things does happiness depend? I have read all that the wise men have written, and all the secrets of the philosophy are mine. Yet for what of a red rose is my life made wretched?
Okay, right. Thank you. She said that she would dance with me if I brought her red roses, cried the young student. Now, who is the narrator of this or the speaker? Better. Who's the speaker of this line? Who speaks out this line?
The young student.
The young student. Keep in mind, the name is young student. Then question එකක් එනවා. ඔය වගේ extract එක දීලා who speaks these lines? This line. That is not the student. That is not. තව ටිකක් එහාට යනකොට නම ඔයගොල්ලෝ වෙනස් කරගන්නවා. Sorry, university student කියලා. No, that is young student. Right? The character is young student. So the young student says, she said that she would dance with me if I brought her red roses. Now take this sentence. Grammatically, how can you explain, analyze this sentence? She would dance with me if I brought her red roses. Yes. Grammatically, what is this sentence pattern? What do you call this sentence pattern? Yes. This part and this part.
Conditional sentence.
Good. So we call this a conditional sentence. Conditional which type?
Type 2.
Type 2. Good. Or we call them improbable. Right? Type 1, probable or open. Type 2, improbable or imaginary. Type 3, impossible. Right? Conditional sentence. That means what does it mean? A conditional sentence or conditional clauses. What is the main clause and what is the subordinate clause? Grammar, not literature. Main clause, subordinate clause. She would dance with me. On which condition? She agrees to dance if I brought her red roses. Then අපි මේකේ අනිත් පැත්ත බැලුවොත්, if I do not bring her red roses, what will happen? Huh? What will happen? She would not dance with me. If I didn't bring her red roses, she wouldn't dance with me. That is the opposite. If I brought her red roses, she would dance with me. If I didn't bring her red roses, she wouldn't dance with me. Negative, right? So her action or her dance depends on the young student's action. If the young student does this, she would do this. If he doesn't, she would not. Right? So this is the condition. මේක තමයි condition එක කියලා කියන්නේ. Roses ගෙනාවොත් තමයි dance කරන්නේ. නැත්නම් නැහැ. අපි මේ දැන් ටුට්ටකට කලින් කතා කරපු idea එකත් එක්ක මේ idea එක match වෙනවද? The sacrifice? No. So this is what we call conditional love. This is what we call as conditional love. Okay? Now that means she or the girl or her love is conditional. Her love depends on the action of the other. Right? That's a conditional love. So that means there is no sacrifice. So that may not be the true love. Right? She said that she would dance with me if I brought her red roses. Cried the young student. But in all my garden, there is no red rose. Now, at the very beginning, Oscar Wilde creates the conflict. Right? The young student needs a red rose. A red rose එකේ අවශ්‍යතාවයත් හරි serious. ඇයි? She would dance with me if I brought her red rose. But the thing is, there is no red rose. In all my garden, there is no. Then, what is the result? There is no red rose. So the young student has nothing to give to the girl. Then that means she would not dance with the young student. But in all my garden, there is no red rose. From her nest in the home oak tree, the nightingale heard him. Now the young student is in the garden and there is an oak tree. So in that oak tree, there is this nightingale, the bird. So the nightingale heard the story. That means the nightingale heard the young student. And she looked out through the leaves and wondered. Now, the nightingale starts to think. The nightingale sees the young student. Now the young student is in a difficulty. And also now he is in pain. Now the the nightingale start to think. No red rose in all my garden, he cried. And his beautiful eyes filled with tears. You can see the pain. Beautiful eyes filled with tears. Ah, on what little things does happiness depend? Underline. On what little things does happiness depend? What do you think about this one? Hmm? On what little things does happiness depend? What do you think? Is it true? Yeah. What do you want to be happy? Hmm? What can make a person happy? Yes. What can make a person happy? Does it cost thousands of money? අපිට සතුටු වෙන්න දහස් ගණන් මුදල් ඕනද? Do we need luxuries to be happy? Hmm? No. Sometimes just a single word can make you happy. One single word can make a person happy. A very little gift, a word of appreciation, sometimes just a thank you, sometimes maybe a good morning can make a person happy. So the happiness depends on very little things, very simple things, right? මේ සතුට කියන දේ හරි පුංචි දේවල් වල තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි පුංචිම දෙයකට වුණත් පුළුවන් සතුට නැති කරලා දාන්න. නේද? දැන් හිතන්න නිකන් ඕගොල්ලන්ට හම්බෙනවා මේ පාර බර්ත්ඩේ එකට අලුත් iPhone එකක් brand new නේද? බොහොම සතුටෙන් මේක අරගෙන අතට අරගෙන මේම ගත්ත විතරයි අතින් ලිස්සලා ඩක් ගාලා වැටෙනවා බිමට. ඈ දැන් මේ පොඩ්ඩකට කලින් තිබිච්ච සතුටට මොකද උනේ? ඉවරයි. නේද? ආයි අර කහුල්ලලා ගන්නවා මුකුත් ඩැමේජ් එකක් නැහැ. වටේ ඔක්කොම චෙක් කරගෙන යනකොට හවුසින් එකේ පොඩ්ඩක් අර වැලි කැටයක් වැදලා පොඩි ඩොට් එකක් හීරිලා තියෙනවා. දැන් සතුට තියෙන්නේ අර ෆෝන් එකේ ඉතුරු හොඳ ටිකේද එහෙම නැත්නම් අර හීරිච්ච ඩොට් එකේද? අර ඩොට් එකට පුළුවන් අපේ සතුට සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම නැති කරන්න. Right? So the happiness depends on very simple things, very little things. I have read all that the wise men have written. And all the secrets of philosophy are mine. Right? Underline that part also. So, all the secrets of philosophy are mine. With this, what do you think? Hmm? I have read all the wise men have written, and all the secrets of philosophy are mine. What kind of character is the young student? Yes, he is well educated. He's an educated character, right? And according to his expression itself, we can say that he's a bookworm and he has this bookish knowledge, right? He has this bookish knowledge, theoretical knowledge, and especially this word, philosophy. Philosophy is a deep study, right? Now we know that the greatest philosopher of all the time is the Lord Buddha, right? So his philosophy, darshanaya, right? So when people are philosophical, they see the things in a totally different way. Or sometimes they understand the truth of something. So this young student knows philosophy, but ironically, this theoretical knowledge or the philosophy doesn't go with love, right? Philosophy or this theoretical knowledge doesn't go with love. Yet for want of a red rose is my life made wretched. Wretched means destroyed, ruined. So this uh, simple thing, red rose, compared to his knowledge, education, red rose is just a simple thing, very little thing. So that's why he says, on what little things does happiness depend? එයා කොච්චර educated කෙනෙක් වුණත්, philosophical ideas තියෙන කෙනෙක් වුණත්, in front of love, he becomes helpless. His eyes filled with tears. Yet for want of a red rose my life made wretched. One who knows all what the wise men have written and the secrets of philosophy, now he is weeping for a red rose. The happiness depends on not in philosophy, not in this knowledge, but now his happiness depends on this red rose. ඒක නිසා තමයි එයා කියන්නේ on what little things does happiness depend. දැන් එයාගේ සම්පූර්ණ සතුට තියෙන්නේ එයා කොච්චර philosophical ideas තියෙන කෙනෙක් වුණත්, එයා කොච්චර wise menලා ලියපු දේවල්, wise ideas දැනගෙන හිටියත් වැඩක් නැහැ. මේ simple red rose එකක් නිසා his life is ruined. Is that clear? එතනකන් ඕකේද?
Yes, sir.